Hey everybody, welcome back to the Winter Wonderland. We had a pretty good dump of snow last night, and fortunately in the last video I got the blower all hooked up and ready to go. Now with this much snow, you can start thinking about having some fun in it, so we're going to get the snowmobile out, and before we go ripping around, we're going to do our regular maintenance on it. Oil change and check everything out, make sure everything's good so we don't have an issue when we get out there on the trail. So we'll get a little snow blowing done, and then we'll get at that. Well, there we go. It took me about an hour to get that all cleaned up. It's good to have that done. If you don't blow it, it just keeps packing up on where you drive, and it makes it harder the next time. So it's good to get that out of the way. I love the snow. You might hear me say that a few times, but it needs to be managed. So now we're gonna go get the snowmobile out. Hopefully it starts up. Should. I put sea foam in the gas last year. That prevents it from gumming up and getting all the injectors and everything gummed up, I hope. Well, before I went and got the snowmobile out, I had to go in the house because I had a terrible thing happen. That happens almost every time I put my boots on, and that's my sock goes to my toe. I can put up with it for so long, but then I gotta stop, take my boot off, pull my sock up, and put my boot back on, only to have it happen about 30 seconds later. I thought maybe there was a proper name for this. I could identify it so I could respond to interact with other people that's suffering from this. I had a quick Google search and there did not seem to be a proper name for it, but there's definitely a lot of people suffering from the same affliction that I have. So I did a quick translate in Google from Latin to the problem. Sock to toe, soccum ad pollicem. Soccum ad pollicem. Let's start a charity. Let's start a research group so we can end this craziness that we have to put up with every time we put our boot on. Thanks. All right, welcome back. It's the next day. We're getting ready to do the maintenance check, pre-season check over on the Skandic. It's if you have a Skandic or a Tundra or a Expedition, I believe it's all the same. It's all the Rev Gen4 series, so most of this, what I'm going to do under the hood here today, will apply to those other machines as well. Now I'm going to be using the regular owner operator's manual, but I downloaded, and I think I might even have paid for it, the service manual as well, which kind of gives me a little bit more insight into what I'm supposed to be doing and what I'm supposed to be looking for underneath the hood. Now the first thing you got to do before you do an oil change is you got to warm the engine up. So we're going to go for a little rip, and we'll get that toasted up for us. All right, the first step is to get at the engine. We've got to take this off and take some other panels off here. We start with the windshield. The next step is to remove the glove box, if you want to call it that, up top here. It's held on by a couple of screws here. You can see on this one, I have a mount here for putting my Montana GPS on there. It's a Garmin GPS. Works great, but you got to wire it up yourself. And so we have to allow for that cable just to be hanging there. So we'll get a little Torx driver and get that out. All right, now we'll take these other guys out for them. The same on the other side. We'll take off the panels on the side. That'll allow us some access. I'm going to end up taking the whole hood off because I want to check something underneath there I'll talk about. So you can see how I spliced in my GPS here, just into the power point right there. It was just 2 wires, easy enough to do. But for now, I will disconnect those so we can set this stuff aside. I'm going to mark this first so we know that's the negative. Now these ones are marked negative. The black one is a negative, and there is a negative on there, and the red's positive, and there's a little positive mark there, so we know where to put them back when we go to put it back together. In the hole here, we're going to disconnect the headlights. Easy to take those off, like that. We got to take these off here. There's also some screws at the front here. You can see there's the drive belt, and up here, those guys got to come out. And on the right side, you can see it right in there. And there was 2 other bolts here that had to be taken out. Now we should be able to lift it all off. So there we go. We have access to almost everything. Things are still kind of crammed in there. You can see there's the oil filter. It's not so bad. One thing I was concerned about was the steering here, but it doesn't seem like there's a horrendous amount of play in it, so I'm not going to worry about it. So on this machine, I showed you the oil filter. To drain the oil, you have to go under here, and it doesn't look like a nice place to work. So I'm going to elevate it up with the hoist here to make things a little easier for us. That should be high enough for me to work under there a little more comfortably. I'm not comfortable going under there. You should be just with one thing holding up something over your head or your body. So I'm going to get something and put it under here just in case this fails. You never know. First we're going to lay down some cardboard down there because I'm a delicate flower. Here's a light I made for lighting things up under there. It's just an ammo box, and it's supposed to be a 12-volt light, but I looked it up and it's 9-volt to 37-volt. So I just hook it up to one of my Milwaukee batteries, and it lasts a long time. Little side project. You can see there's a little panel right there you have to take off, and underneath that is your oil drain plug. It's a Torx 27. This might swing out of the way, so we're just going to undo one completely. We got one loose. If I remember correctly, you got to undo both these. We'll just go check the manual. So we get our tray under there to catch the oil. I got a rag there. And I got some gloves to put on. I don't like getting the used oil on my hands. Gloves don't work very well. This is the main and the secondary. You're supposed to drain them main first and then secondary. I don't know why. It's just what the manual says, so we'll go with that. Get our tray ready. Doesn't look like it's in there by much, so. There we go. That oil doesn't look that dirty. I didn't put too many miles on last year, so that's probably why. All right, now we'll take out that secondary plug. Let's see what we got there. It's a long plug. Look at that. Maybe that's out of the oil filter. When I did crack that oil filter cover off, more oil came out the bottom. You can see it draining off there now. Here's our new oil filter and the cap. Now it does suggest that you should be replacing the O-ring each time as well. I didn't get the kit. The dealership didn't have the kit. I just got the oil and the filter. So we're going to stick with the old one. So just kind of pressure fit in there a bit. There we go, just like that. So I got the lid back on, and now I'll snug up those Torx bolts back in there. see, getting to that one with an extension on might be a little difficult. So I got a universal joint to put on there so you can get at it properly, square. If you try to torque it otherwise, you just might strip the Torx part of it out. All right. So I don't see any more oil coming out. I'll get this wiped off here. Mrs. Homesteader's shirt. I hope she doesn't mind. I'll wash it out before she comes home. And we'll put these back in. Now again, you're supposed to replace these little seals, but I wasn't able to get any, so we're going to use the old ones. These are supposed to be 15 foot-pounds. That's not a whole lot. And my torque wrench doesn't go down that low. So we'll leave her there. And we'll swing this back over. Snug that back up. Now there is some Loctite material on those bolts, little yellow stuff. So that'll help. That will help those not back out. It wouldn't be the end of the world if they did, but after a long day of riding, if those panels came off and the whole underside filled up full of snow, it might be a problem. Everything looks good under here. So we'll get all this stuff pulled out and we can lower her back down. To add the oil, you come over here to the side of the machine and you fill through the dipstick. So the engine takes 3.4 liters. So I'm going to use this cup. About half a finger width to the top is 500 milliliters. So we'll need almost 7 cups. So I'm going to add 7 and about a half, and then we'll run it and we'll do our checks and check for the oil level. Of course, we're using 0W40 synthetic oil. That's the kind that comes right from the dealership. It ain't cheap. I think for the oil filter and the this jug of oil was $122. So other things that we can look at here to check our coolant level. It's good. Looks nice and clean. We don't see any defects or anything or other leaks inside there. Now we should adjust the drive chain, which is right here. You can see where I'm at. Right here. I watched a YouTuber that I trust, and he says you just snug that up. When it's snug, back it off half a turn. The tool to adjust the drive chain is right here. Except you can't take it out. We got that in there pretty good. You put that there, on there. You can see it clicking. So it's snug there. So we'll take it back. Take it back about 3/4 of a turn. There. I watched a video from Skidoo, and there was a tech there, and he showed how to do that. So the other thing we want to look at is the drive belt. Pull that off of there. So it looks like it's brand new. Is basically it is. There's no wear. There's no powder down at the bottom from a worn belt. And since I'm the only one that's ever driven this, I can assure you that I've never had it stuck to the point where I've been spinning and the belt's spinning. So that's good. That's everything under the hood that we need to check. So we'll start putting her back together, and then we'll get it out and do a warm up, and then we'll check the oil again. That's it. That took a while. Messing around with the wires in here, trying to get everything in the right spot. So it'll go back together. It's very, very tight fitting in there. And I had an extra set of bolts when I was done, but I found out where they went. So it's getting a bit dark out. We're going to leave it here tonight, and we'll come out and give her a test drive tomorrow and check the oil. Chop it up if need be. take it out and run the temperature up, come back and check the oil. A little 10-minute hop to get her warmed up. Let's check her out. Well, it's definitely up to the full line, so we'll leave her at that. We won't put any more in it. The total capacity is 3.4 liters, and we put in 3.25 liters, and I always suspect there's a bit of oil you don't get out, so that'll be good. Before we go, I just wanted to show you my cargo system on the back of this unit. I incorporated the Milwaukee pack-out system. So I just keep some supplies, some survival supplies in there. I got a knife, some basic tools, a cable lock in case I have to leave the snowmobile somewhere, a few tools. Nice little Allen set. Now I think about it, I should have a Torx in there as well. There's some paracord in there too. Some snacks, some dry gloves. There's a couple foil blankets in case of emergency. In case of real emergency, some toilet paper. And a ratchet strap. That's in the top one. In this larger one at the bottom, I got a shovel. And the rest is basically recovery gear. I got some straps. I got a big long piece of rope, 1/2-inch rope, another strap. And this is a real lifesaver here. This is a rope come along. Remember, it's hard to get back in here so it fits, but the very first time I had the snowmobile out, I was gone about 10 minutes back in the bush here, and I got stuck, and it took me 3 hours to get out. So I had to walk back here and get some recovery gear, and then I went back out, and then I had to walk back again and get recovery gear and went back out. There was like 3 feet of snow. It was a real pain in the butt. So I always like to have that stuff on me now. So if you get stuck, you can get yourself out. And I have used that to get myself out, and it sure is nice to have. Takes a big box to hold, but I can live with it. Just have to figure out how to get that back in there. Anyway, so these just pop off. We have that little hook right there, and that hooks into this Milwaukee plate here. I just bought that at Home Depot, and I used some aluminum rails down here. I think it's called 80/20, these aluminum rails. And they have slots in the top so you can put nuts on them and slide it along. Anyway, it worked out perfect with the Link Q system that Skidoo puts out. The only thing I didn't like about the Link Q boxes you could get for them is they're bloody expensive. I think the one single box here is like $500, and you can get all kinds of accessories, but they're very expensive. And I use the Milwaukee pack-out system for all my tools and stuff in the shop. So I figure, what the hell, may as well put it on. And it's great. And I can take all my boxes off here. I can take and put on my ATV as well, or wherever else I want to mount them. So it's a good system, and it doesn't take a whole lot to do. And I think, I'm just guessing, but that box and this box and this frame here, you could probably get for less than 2.25. So that's not bad. You got to use some fabricating skills to build that mount at the bottom to get hooked up to the link queue system. But if you got any skills at all, you can do it. So I also got the chainsaw holder on the back of this, and the upgraded trailer hitch there. The chainsaw holder's nice if you're out bushwhacking. The only problem is though, it blocks one of the tail lights. But at least have one. If you're out bushwhacking on your own, nobody's going to see you anyway. So we'll be seeing more of this snow machine as the winter progresses. We plan on doing a trip with them, at least one anyway. So I think the snowmobile is ready for the winter, with one exception. There's one more thing we got to do, and that's put a trail pass on it. In Ontario here, there's over 30,000 kilometers of snowmobile trails, and those trails don't groom themselves. They need very specific equipment, and that's all supplied by the Ontario Federation of Snowmobile Clubs, and they can't continue to do that without us buying these trail passes. I bought mine before November 1st, and it was like $200 or something like that. Maybe it's December 1st. I bought mine before December 1st, so I got a discount on it. You buy it after, it's still a good deal. 30,000 kilometers you can ride on. I'll have more on the Ontario Federation of Snowmobile Clubs coming up, because I'm a volunteer as well. So you buy that pass and put it on. If you don't want to buy a pass, that's fine. Don't ride on the trails. It's that simple. Good to go. Thanks for watching, everybody. I got lots of videos coming up. Winter is here, our favorite time of the year, and we'd like to do lots of activities. I plan on doing a winter camping trip with the sled and a wall tent, and there'll be preparation for that and getting ready for that as well. If you have any comments or questions, please leave it below, and I will answer your questions either directly or in an upcoming video. Please like and subscribe if you can, and share, and click that little bell at the bottom there, and it'll let you know when I have new videos coming out. Thanks a lot. We'll see you again.